The game goes on.
Hey guys, welcome to Alamo City Geek Speak. My name is Justin. It's been a long day. It worrisome that it takes that long to do.
We're not joined by anybody today.
Yeah, it's actually going to be just us three. So play the Apple Watch. This is a special episode. This is an episode for the big movie that everyone loves is coming out, Star Wars. So don't be surprised because we have a lot more Star Wars stuff going on in this episode. Me and Pete seem to have very different opinions on the entire series.
And by different, you mean yours are right and his are wrong.
You can follow me on Twitter. I sometimes post about these.
Yeah, and then you could also just not follow him too because his posts are horrible. No, for real. So that's kind of what's on the agenda today. So buckle up. Starting off today though, like we always do.
No. Hold on to your butts.
That's Jurassic Park. I'm not gonna.
Oh, what does Lando say in Return of the Jedi? Pretty sure he says.
This
hold on
deal
to your
keeps
butts.
getting worse and worse.
Is that all he says?
He puts
we
on
can-
Han Solo's clothes. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a little weird.
He's like,
I never thought about
I like
that.
the way this guy wears his shirt. Because that's what he sounds like. Anyway,
I thought that was like standard smuggler attire.
it kind of is. It kind of is because I mean, you think a smuggler can only really wear a few things. It's either if you're a smuggler, like in was it something in the Bandit?
Smokey?
Smokey, there you go. I'll just call him Dusty. I'm like, it's not Dusty.
Dusty
and
and
the
the Bandit.
Dusty,
Dusty, Smokey. These are all similar words.
So Han Solo rides a Trans Am with
Right.
with
Sally Fields?
With Sally Field, it's like Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's not Peter Mayhew. That's Sally
Sally
Field.
Field.
Oscar-winning Sally Field.
Yeah, she
All 7 feet of her.
right. Oh, it's crazy.
I mean, they use the same kind of camera tricks that make the hobbits look small.
And Tom
But
Cruise
it's
looks so tall.
right? Tom Cruise is the size of a small child. He actually uses Scientology's witch magic to look taller in movies.
Hey, maybe he uses the Force, man.
Justin, you know what happens when you speak about Scientology?
Oh yeah, that's right. They come back and take a small piece of your brain or what?
And charge you $5,000.
Right.
Yeah.
One of us. Your thetan levels are off the scales.
They make you hold on to Wii controllers while you
All
stare
they do
at an old transistor radio.
They put you in a dark room, make you hold on to Wii controllers. They have a TV that the volume's turned all the way down, but they have the tracking like all fucked up, so it's looking all like VCR-ish. And they have people on the outside going making noises. You're like, oh my god, is this thing working? I could hear the thetans.
Your face is very...
I don't know if that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure that is how it works.
Hey guys, just keep in mind if I disappeared tomorrow, it was not an accident. Most definitely murder.
Find me. Find my killers and avenge me.
Avenge my death.
Your thetan levels are a 157.
Is that good?
That's
not-
really bad.
You are the second coming of Elrond.
I was
Lo-
gonna
Elrond. I meant Elrond, not Elrond.
He said Elrond, like the elf.
You are the second coming of the guy who also did the voice for Megatrash.
Yeah,
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
man.
He's always Hugo Weaving lies. Anyway, before
Mr.
let's not go too far down this rabbit hole.
Oh.
So which one of you guys want to go first? Since it's kind of a
You know
small
what?
group.
You go first.
You
this
go
time.
first.
Oh,
This is
maybe
your
things a little
thing.
different today. So what to say? I mean, I've been working as usual.
Oh, we're doing that thing? I thought we were just going to talk about the Star Wars.
We're going to talk about what we did this whole
We
week.
have to do that.
Leaving up to the Star Wars?
Leading up to the Star Wars,
The
yes.
Star Wars?
The Star Wars, like the wars in the stars.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just working, playing video games.
What are you playing?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm playing garbage. I did finish up the Old Blood, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. It took me a little while to.
So that's
finish
garbage?
it. It's actually okay. I said garbage, and I didn't mean it. The Old Blood was actually a pretty good game. It takes it back to the old school Wolfenstein. I think I mentioned that before. Where you're fighting zombies.
Yeah, on the other episode.
But I just like all the neat little Easter eggs to have in there because, of course, it is Bethesda, but Machine Games made it. It was Machine Games, whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of PC games, going back and through my Steam library and playing some games there.
Oh, I thought you meant like politically correct games.
Oh yeah, no, that too.
PC games.
I'm playing this one game
PC,
called.
bro?
Yeah, totally. PC Utah. UMass. There you go. No, I've been playing a lot of the old games I have on my Steam library. So I've been playing a lot of. I've been playing Depth and Hitman and stuff like that. I don't know what it is.
Depth is that one where you gotta like fight sharks, right?
Yeah, you either play as a shark or you play as a diver.
I think we mentioned it on the show before.
Dude,
think so.
it is so much fun. Like, it's stupid fun, especially
It's stupid
just
scary.
to eat people. Well, I mean, it's really stupid scary. You played it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pooped
yeah.
my pants.
Yeah, it
Several
was
times.
horrible. He came to work the next day. He didn't shower because he was afraid to get in the water.
Yeah.
And it was just poo everywhere.
I was getting afraid of the water inside of the toilet, so I didn't even try to like dump off. I just like carried it around with me.
Yeah, it was his badge of shame.
Gross.
And other than that, I've been watching a lot of. You know what? I will tell anybody I hate Halloween just because like I don't like Halloween movies. I think the holiday is overplayed for what it is. But then when fucking Christmas comes around, I can't not watch Christmas movies. I can't
Christmas movies are always really good.
because they make you
Okay.
feel a little something special. Like
I'm
Jingle All the
gonna,
Way.
I'm gonna rescind that comment. They're not always really good.
Yeah,
they're
I know.
entertaining, and they're good because they're entertaining. Like Jingle All the Way, we can all agree is not like a good movie. It's not gonna win any awards.
Fuck no,
But
it ain't. But it's good.
I mean-
you want to watch the, you know, it's not the Turbo Man.
Really, the reason I'll watch this one part of the movie
was
over and
cool.
over again, just to watch the Big Show come out, and be like, I'm about to stalk your, how's it go? I'm about to deck your halls,
And
bub.
then he picks up the little guy's like, little buddy.
Little buddy. Oh, Big Show, you didn't think I'd see you through that beard, did you? And then, and he was also really like in shape in that. And then when you watch him in wrestling, it's like, because he's wearing a leotard.
He's getting old though.
Yeah.
Can't really fault him for.
Dude, all the guys that we saw in like the Attitude Era, they're all so old.
Stone
now.
Cold's like, and that's the bottom line, because line. You can't remember shit, and he's drinking like Pabst Blue Ribbon now, but he's drinking like but he's drinking like O'Doul's. He's
Yeah.
like, I gotta keep the calories down.
That doesn't. No, okay.
What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No.
You gotta do some MG, bro.
Other than that, I mean, also I found out a new love of mine during the Christmas holiday. A lot of games, and I say a lot of games, I can only think of a few of them. Hitman, specifically, Blood Money. There's a Christmas level, and I played over and over again just to dress up as Santa and kill everybody with a knife. It's pretty fucked up, I know. But it's also really cool when you see the paper come up that says assailant dressed as Santa Claus was attacking people with a butcher knife. I mean, it's insane. It's like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You run around a bright red
It's rewarding.
suit. Is it
Yeah,
a
you
suit?
actually put up the suit.
Yeah, I think you have the beard and everything, right?
Yeah.
I can't
No, what I
remember.
was saying is like, is suit the right word? I mean,
In this case, you'd be battle armor.
okay.
I guess, yeah.
It protects you from bullets because every time they shoot, the children's wishes protect you,
Oh my god.
and someone's name gets crossed off the naughty list.
Do they die?
No, they just they transcend life.
They died.
They die. Yeah, you ever seen the movie Transcendency? They don't die; they become part of the computer.
I thought that was Contact.
That was actually
No, it was
Deus Ex Machina. I
I
don't
thought
know.
that was The Matrix.
Oh, speaking of which, have you guys? I know you watched it, Brandon, but have you seen Ex Machina?
Mr. Anderson. No, I haven't.
Dude, that's a fucked up movie.
I started to see. I think I've seen like an hour of it actually, and then we didn't finish it.
Don't feel bad,
all
because
I-
I've been really far behind on movies. Like, I just saw Interstellar 2 days ago.
Oh man, but it's such a fucking great
It
movie,
is such a
right?
great movie.
Well, you know,
I
one
love
thing
that
is,
movie.
who was that bearded dude in Ex Machina?
That's
I forgot the actor's name.
trying to remember his name. Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac.
Who's
Had
Poe
you-
Dameron?
Huh?
Who's Poe Dameron?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
That's correct. He's
I didn't know
Poe.
how to say the name. I was like, Poe Dameron?
I
Yeah, he
Dameron.
said
Like
Poe Dameron the other
Cameron?
day, and I was like, "Who the hell? What are you talking about, Brandon?"
I'm sorry.
That makes sense.
I'm a
Thank
bad
you.
person.
This is why we need P on the show. He's our fact checker.
He was the
kinda
guy
like
with the pencil mustache, the orderly from Sucker Punch.
He was, but
Oh, yes, he was.
the reason I'm bringing that up is
It's also Standard from Drive.
Nobody watched that.
When I first saw the preview for Ex Machina, until I realized that it was someone else, Oscar Isaac, I shit you not, I kept thinking it was Jake Johnson. I'm like, this is such a different role for Jake Johnson.
It did look like Jake Johnson.
And I was like,
except for the nose. The nose gave it away.
The nose gave it because it's not as big, but still kind of had the same kind of bend in the same spot.
No,
so I was like, dude,
between the two of them, you could have easily.
You go from New Girl to like New Robot. I don't know. Anyway,
New girl robot.
New girl robot. But then again, as a robot, do you really have an identification? But then again, this one believed that she was a female.
So is that all you did this week?
That's pretty much all I did this week.
That's quite a bit. Yeah, holy shit.
Actually, you know what? I live a pretty rewarding life. What do you guys go next?
Brandon?
Okay. I watched Interstellar.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done. It's like,
Well, I've been watching a lot of things recently because of Christmas and not having money. My Netflix account ran out, which is the first time that's happened in like 3 years. So hey, it's a pretty good streak. I just couldn't pay it this month, but I can live without it. I use Jared's Hulu anyway, and he pays for the badass Hulu without commercials. So I
still have the old Hulu with commercials.
Yeah, I still do. I have that too.
So I've been watching some stuff on Hulu. I've been watching this series. It's like a satire, like dating show series called Burning Love. It's starring a lot of like really funny comedians, and it's just it's a satire on shows like The Bachelor. It's all just completely parody and over the top, and they have a ton of guest stars. It's just I could run out of breath trying to list a lot of them. But it's pretty funny.
If you try to do it on one breath,
why wouldn't I do it on one breath? That's the only way to do things. So I was watching that. I've been watching the series. It's a Hulu series called Behind the Mask, and it's about like mascots and like their personal lives and being mascots.
I've seen the trailers for it.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
It's really cool. Some of these guys do some like amazing stuff. Like the guy, I don't remember his name right now. He's the mascot Bango for the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks. Is it the Milwaukee? I don't know, man. I don't know basketball.
Sounds right. If it's not the Spurs, I don't know.
Exactly right.
What are the Spurs mascot anyway? What is
the coyote?
It's a coyote?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh, that's right, it is. He's got those big, crazy, cracked out green eyes. Yeah, he is. Okay. Yeah, he sucks. Bango is where it's
you,
at.
Brandon.
Bango.
He does suck, though. I don't like the coyote. It's too creepy.
Do you know
this Bango guy climbed up to the top of like a 14-foot ladder. Do they make him in foot?
They probably make him larger than that.
He stood on the top. You know the fucking part that says this is not a step? Well, to him, it's a step. He climbed to the top of that, did a backflip, and slam dunked.
It's like, fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's better than Kobe.
In the mascot.
In a mascot suit.
The coyote gives shirts to kids.
I don't care what the coyote does.
Does he do backflips off of a 14-foot
I've never
ladder?
seen.
No, but he does lines of coke in the bathroom. No. I'm just, allegedly.
It's clearly evident. Don't sue us, Texas Hammer.
Martillo down.
They probably do have Gene Adler in their corner. Fuck.
That or Wainwright. It's just one of those two.
So mostly it's just been some Hulu watching for me, and Interstellar was really fantastic.
Oh, that's right, they added that Hulu.
It was about as good as everyone said. I didn't know what to expect. I was surprised at how many spoilers I was able to avoid. Talking to people, I just said, "Hey, don't ruin it for me. Just let me know is it good or not." And is that like science kind of believable? And they're like, not really. But I'm like, okay.
Like if you do a lot of space and like,
if you do a lot of space,
it's that synthetic weed.
Oh, that synthetic weed.
Yeah, if you do a lot of space and listen to a lot of Jefferson Spaceship,
Starship,
whatever. I don't fucking know.
So Christopher Nolan knocked it out of the park. I mean, like just like visually, the movie was it was stunning. The way that they traverse the black holes, like it was mind bending. You didn't know what was going on. They used, for the most part, for a lot of that stuff, practical effects. It wasn't a ton of CG. You could tell when it was like a camera on top of a model or something, and other cool visuals going on around it. So it was just overall, the movie was mind bending. I think Matthew McConaughey was great.
He was. Also, it's like one of the most frightening fucking films I've ever seen.
Dude, for real.
Because it really is like probably gonna happen.
That's like the whole time dilation thing.
Yeah.
Like holy shit. Like, it freaked me the hell out.
It was.
If I go into space, I'll try not to be too gone too long.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We'll be probably dead by the time we come back.
I'm just letting you know, like if I do go to space, like don't die too early.
Well, I can't promise that.
Yeah, not even Michael Caine could.
When he was like, I could come back and we'll be the same age. That was more Owen Wilson, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
she was like, shut up, Dad.
You gotta kind of bring it down a little bit.
Yeah. That was good. Like, how you doing, bud?
Hey, this is Dave. day 4. It's probably been like 50 years on Earth.
And Michael Caine's in the ground going like, it doesn't make sense. The math is there. She was only 16. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Wow, that was pretty good. Your Matthew McConaughey was a lot better than I thought it was going to be coming out the gate.
I practiced.
That's bad.
Justice Michael Caine, I like that.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That's going to be really loud in the mic.
Yeah.
So, that's my week in a nutshell. Just keep it short. Go ahead, Pete.
I caught up with Arrow and The Flash.
Lame.
They had really good Christmas specials. And
They do Christmas specials?
Yeah.
Like, is it like jokey and like kind of hokey?
The Flash was. It was actually really funny.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
They have
Like, the beginning of it is like fucking hilarious.
It's like, Flash, we're running out of eggnog and all the people are coming. It's like, don't worry, I'll be... There you go.
if
He like spun around the world, went back 2,000 years to actually experience Jesus' birth.
He's like, well, it did happen. How you like that?
there's a little bit of that there's a little bit of that ridiculousness in between that episode or right before that episode, but leading up to that episode, like it's actually really rewarding if you've been watching season 2 because it's super funny. And then I've been playing a lot of Destiny.
Really?
I got a new Sparrow. Yeah,
You play on PS4 though, right?
I play on PS4.
See, I need to get my my PlayStation Plus back because
After
I
you get
haven't,
Netflix.
Well, yeah, Netflix probably does come first, but
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Destiny with anybody online because with Justin's schedule change, and Joel doesn't play at night because he works. He has to wake up at like 4 a.m., so he doesn't play when I get home.
Yeah, so you and I should play then because I don't have anybody to play with. And I was actually telling that to somebody who is a friend of mine. He's been playing it like since year 1, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna get the Taken King because I'm like tired of paying for all this bullshit, yada yada yada." And then I got the game with my PS4, so I felt like not cheated. I guess you want to look at it that way. So I don't feel like I'm entitled to just be like, oh, this is a shitty game anymore. It's actually a pretty fun game.
Well, it's so much fun. It's only fun really when you have other like-minded people to play with.
Yeah.
Some people take it way too seriously, and every time we get in raids with them, like I'm just like, come on, just like really, we're gonna go this far into it.
And really, like, I just want like a cool raid group because I don't want to just be like, oh, we have to fucking do it on hard and do everything fucking like perfect. I just want to be able to beat it.
Pissed off if you don't get the drops you want. I run this once a week, every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry about not getting something I want. Anything that I get, even if it's like a green, I'll just be like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
because it's new. So
Well, like the one thing I haven't enjoyed too much about Destiny, that you mentioned it, is gonna be the Sparrow races.
I haven't even tried it yet, and I have a nice new Sparrow, and I think it's gonna end this Friday.
Well, no, I think it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I thought it was 3
it
weeks.
was only like a week and a half or 2.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
Maybe
that
2
long.
weeks.
It may be a little longer, like on the 28th. I do need to start playing it though, because I do want to get. I do want to get my Class C, so I can get another Sparrow.
Well, like the Sparrow races, the RNG is just as fucked as ever. So
I mean,
like
that's the game.
I know, but like I came in first like on 3 consecutive races.
Didn't get jack.
I got 2 horns and I got a freaking what's it called, strained coin, and then the second race I did, I dominated, right. A guy joins at the end. No, he was actually there the whole time, but he never finished. He never crossed the line. His time was 0.
You
Got a goddamn Sparrow.
Yeah, I've seen that happen like on YouTube and shit. Like how people are always like complaining. Like the guy there's one guy in particular I follow, and he's like been playing it like nonstop all week on like a stream, and then like he's like after like 150 like races, he finally got a Sparrow. I was like, oh Jesus, what is up with that?
No thanks.
Yeah, no, but yeah. Other than that, I'll keep mine pretty simple too. I've just been doing that, and then I bought a lot of stuff for Christmas, and then.
Christmas shopping.
And I'm actually pretty happy I'm not poor yet, so.
What I get paid oh shit, maybe now? I don't know what time it is. I get paid at midnight, so that's gonna be pretty good. I get paid in about 10 minutes. So I'll finally have some money to finish my Christmas shopping, and like you said, hopefully, have a little bit left over for me, because it's Christmas is cool and all to give to people, but it sucks if you're poor the entire time.
Every boy likes a good mix.
Other people aren't going to pay my bills for Christmas.
That's right.
Ooh, Scientology. They might, but you have to
No,
live
they lock you in a giant 4-story apartment complex, and like they make all the women clean while the men go make movies.
They lock you in the same closet as R. Kelly.
But the question is, do you have bills?
No, I guess not.
I mean, you're cashing one big goddamn bill the entire time you're there.
but hey, CPS ain't getting money from me.
Exactly. Right?
That's the energy company here, by the way, not Child Protective Services.
Thief bastards.
Anyway, your electricity is too high, but then everyone else around you's bill is lower than yours.
We're here to talk about Star Wars.
We are here to talk about Star Wars.
Stark about Star Wars.
Stark about Star Wars. Okay, so we all know Star Wars is a magical series.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Shut your mouth. Star Wars is important to a lot of people for multiple reasons. I mean, the fact is, it is argued to be one of the first movies to actually take sci-fi to the big screen on a big way. It was one of the first movies to kind of change, in a way, storytelling.
Well, I think it's because mostly when you say they took sci-fi in a different direction, it's because they avoided kind of some of the other like campy tropes that other sci-fi movies like kind of had to abide by.
Right.
You know, and it was a new vision for that type of movie, and I mean they hit the damn jackpot.
You know,
what it was.
A big thing is like in every other sci-fi movie, it was always about you're always in space. They have crazy, awesome technology and always point it out to everybody. You know, it's just like Buck Rogers. That's all it was. Just like, oh, I got technology flying around.
Yeah, and that was, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna use this phaser gun or something. You know, there was none of that. What is the word I'm looking for?
Pretentious bullshit in Star Wars.
Yeah, like
it was all about the story, and technology came second. It was just like, oh yeah, it's a lightsabers, whatever. I'll explain to you later. You know,
and I mean, for God's sake, Luke looks directly at where the beam is emitted from. Like Obi-Wan hands it to him, he's like, "This is a lightsaber," and he like looks at it, he's like, "Huh? Yeah, it looks good to me," you know. So there was no explaining, like, "Oh, don't point that at your face." Like, it just kind of let the movie be itself.
Yeah. So I mean, as the story progressed, episode 4, 5, and 6, you know, which is really weird that it started there, but then you know, of course, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it kind of makes sense if you wanted to make it sense.
No,
it really doesn't.
It really doesn't.
But I mean, it's. We had this conversation at work. We obviously disagree on this, but episode 4, I feel, was one of the best in the series. It was, I mean, Empire Strikes Back was really important because the Battle of Hoth was great, and this is kind of where the tables start to turn a little bit in the favor of the heroes, because now, especially for Luke, he's starting to understand what his powers are, where he came from. We were talking about the fight between him and Darth Vader on Dagobah.
Right.
And you're like, it doesn't make sense, it's stupid. But then
well,
like,
actually, that's my only complaint about episode 2, because that's my number 1.
What do you mean episode 5?
Whatever, dude. The others, the first 3 don't exist, or the prequels don't exist.
They do exist, and we'll get to those.
We won't.
You can't.
They happen.
Listen,
That's
those are stains on history. We have to acknowledge them. But there's also some cool stuff that stains can do, and we'll talk about that. But no, in episode 5, things get kind of crazy, and then of course episode 6, everything wraps up in a neat little package, or so we think, thanks to Force Awakens. But yeah, I mean, I if I had to grade episode 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I mean, just in linear
for me,
order.
it's Empire, A New Hope, then Return.
Yeah,
they're very, very, very close, but I think Empire Strikes Back. I think mostly because of the Hoth battle. Like, for whatever reason, I just think it was the coolest shit.
It was, and also on top of it, I feel like it's a lot more character driven. There's a lot more bonding between the characters also.
But, you know, like, I feel like if we were all to sit down and say, like, watch a movie like Titanic, right? I'd be a fan of the first half because it's all about character development, and you guys would be a fan of the second half because it's all about, like, those characters, like, coming together to unite and all die in the water.
So the action.
So the action. So like episode 4 to me was just all about.
Which episode was it when Leo draws her like naked? That's my favorite.
Yeah,
not episode. I'm sorry, which half?
Yeah.
That was actually
First half, right?
if you pay attention, if you're watching the movie, once it gets halfway down her body, it says please insert tape 2. To watch the other half, you have to do that.
And it's also in like tape 2 that he like destroys her in that car. Just like, wow. You know, it's just, I was trying to put it delicately, but
they were cleaning the inside of the car. That's what they were doing.
Yes,
with Stanley Steamer
regularly.
Stanley Steamer.
That's why that's why the windows were steaming up, man.
Was
Come on,
Leo from Cleveland too?
Oh.
Well,
Damn it, Cat.
He'd make you think that. But I think one of the big things about episode 4 that I really liked again was just the fact that we get to see the start of all this stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we learn that Luke is a Jedi, or that Obi-Wan was not all he said he was supposed to be. This is also the first place where you get to see a Tusken Sand Raider just lose his mind and die.
Well, I mean, that's usually what they do anyway. Because they're, indigenous people of Tatooine, and it's too fucking hot to live there.
That's why there's so much, fighting in the Middle East.
Exactly.
How come they're running around looking like a fucking Master Chief in the video for Halo 5 and, they don't die? It's too damn hot out there.
Yeah. I agree.
I agree, too.
Really fucking hot.
And then they ride, elephants stuffed or covered in fur.
Aren't those banthas? That's a fucking bantha, the big old fucking...
I think so.
That's what a bantha is, yeah. Bantha
So, I mean,
poodoo, yeah. It's,
that's...
the equivalent of bullshit. In Hutties, if you want to look at it that way.
Or also wherever the fuck... fucking...
Whoever the fuck made that up.
What's his face? Sebulba? Goddamn Sebulba. You can't speak Hutties.
He could do what he wants.
Yeah, he's Sebulba, dude. His
Sebulba.
friggin' Potter just sounds like a Mustang tricked out.
Oh yeah, it does. Makes that potato sound. Potato.
Man, I feel like I'm on the south side all the time listening to that car.
Oh. We lived there.
We did that.
Well, the biggest, the coolest thing was in episode 4 is it starts kind of laying out these things okay, like you were saying, you're like, oh, Luke is a Jedi. And you kind of find out that a Jedi is some kind of form of future night. And you're like, even though it takes place a long time
Even though it
ago,
takes place a
still
long
future,
time ago.
our future.
Alleged future.
It kind of makes you want to know more, but at the same time, you're satisfied knowing what you know. And the original trilogy pieces some things together. You find more about the Jedi Council and what the whole order has been about. Right. You find out about the Sith from that, because all you really know in 4, 5, and 6 is Luke is a Jedi. There's this old Jedi that trains him a little bit and tells him about an even older Jedi, Yoda. And you're just like, what the hell happened to all the Jedi?
When you find Yoda, he's like a crazy old man who's seen it all.
When he's with the flashlight, he's like, mine.
When he lives in the swamp, man.
No, he lives in the swamp and talks to
Alone.
swamp creatures and shit.
And talks to himself.
Dago, but that's just Louisiana.
Right? You know what's really funny, by the way, just kind of
Come get that last apple hill.
Get on a hill. What are you from? You don't know X-Wing. So I was reading online. There's someone who's trying to get Disney to start up a origin story for Yoda. Am I the only person who doesn't give a shit about Yoda?
No,
he's important to the story to a point, but I just don't care.
Nobody cares about Yoda because he's only one of that one-off character. When they brought him back for the prequels, he was just a CGI piece of shit. He was just basically there for plot development.
But
hey, this is
he's a familiar character.
Here's even more of a reason to call our movies the prequels. But
yeah, I think you're right there because they talk about Yoda so much and they're we have to kind of give him a little bit of prominence way beforehand because you already know he's old as shit,
right?
So to show him in the original series with Anakin as a little boy kind of gives some perspective on just how old Yoda is and how long ago that happened, and you're just like, wow. And Plo Koon's got a crab on his face.
Dude, Plo Koon. We were talking about Plo Koon and
talking about Plo Koon and Karate Monday.
We call him Karate Monday.
Karate Monday and Chuck T, otherwise known as Chuck D.
Chuck D. Karate Monday.
Chuck
Monday. No, but the original. I think episode 1, 2, and 3. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2 and 3, there was nothing good about those, except there were some big fights, and we got to see Jango Fett die, which was important because if Boba Fett didn't see his dad die, he wouldn't be the bounty hunter he is today. Or maybe he'd be better. I don't know. That's the way it's weird, right?
Maybe his dad had more to teach him.
Yeah, right. Or maybe his dad's like, I don't want this life for you. You're gonna go to this planet and learn shit.
You're gonna go to space law school.
Space law.
Oh, shucks, Dad. I don't know why he talks like that.
James Adler's gonna go with you.
Right?
He's gonna be your
James
mentor.
Adler.
You know what? It was really funny, by the way. I was listening to this song today, and it gave me it gave a name that was pretty great. I bet you that Boba Fett could have been a musician. And you know what his name would have been? Boba Fetty Wap. Okay. Anyway, so
R.I.P. that joke.
They use that joke in the newest epic rap battles of history, Deadpool versus Boba Fett. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Can't watch those.
You can't
that
watch
was
those?
an actual ERB?
Yeah, it just came out. It was the start of the new
Because
season.
I mean, I see so many like websites or so many YouTube channels try to do these, nerdy rap battles and stuff. There was
it's
one
always
was,
like the Joker versus Voldemort or some shit.
well, and it's not that the pageantry, like the costumes and stuff. That's what I mean by pageantry. Is bad or like that the lyrics are bad. It's just that. The lyrics are bad.
The lyrics are bad.
So I know I said it's not that.
And also
but the lyrics are bad and the beats are bad. They had one that was like Katniss versus Hermione, and I'm like, that could have been cool if it was done by ERB, but it wasn't. So it was not good. ERB knows how to do it,
and ERB has really actually good like beats behind it.
Oh
like it's actual battle music. Like,
yeah.
You want to rap against somebody, talk some shit. You want to have something backing you up, and they have like the most killer ones on there. But I can't even watch those because, I don't know, man. They're just like, I'm too oversaturated by that kind of fucking chicanery, man.
This chicanery.
There's too much chicanery in that.
Well,
Like
also,
a tamale warehouse or something.
like a tamale warehouse. Lots of chicanery. Is that what you said?
Chicanery, bro.
Chicanery.
Chicanery.
We just said the same word like 5 times.
Sean Chicanery.
Get out. Just get out.
Well, I guess we want to call them the prequels now, because even the original trilogy is going to be the prequel to the new trilogy, and there's really no redeemable qualities about the second or the third movie aside from, I guess in the second movie there's Mace Windu.
There was some in the second one there were some neat fights. There were some important parts of the lore of the series. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people to tell you the movies were bad because they were bad, but there were important parts of Star Wars history. Just because everything didn't roll out the way it was written down on a piece of paper doesn't mean that it was bad.
I think the opposite completely. I think that's exactly why the movies were like this, is because they went by the script. And George Lucas, Hayden Christensen has come out and said, and I think several actors have actually said this, that when he was being directed by George Lucas, he was like, okay, do the scene. And then that was it. From the start of it, J.J. Abrams in this new movie has been like, yeah, you're acting stale. I need you to go ahead and pick it up. Or, hey, you're getting too heavy-handed. I need you to bring it down over here to this level.
And that's kind of the thing. I mean, obviously, there's a difference between the way J.J. Abrams is going to direct and the way George Lucas is directing.
Hopefully, there's no star wipes in this new movie.
No. What do you mean star wipes? There's never star wipes.
There's no star wipes, but there's a lot of fucking wipes and retarded.
Okay.
And
I just need to point this out. In every Star Wars movie, there's always been a wipe, and they're important. They're iconic to the Star Wars series. Even the Clone Wars series on Cartoon Network does the wipes, and they're always great because they always do the music that kind of goes by, and it's like, oh look, now we're on a different planet now, and they're fighting Rancors. It was kind of important to the series. But I get what you're saying. In the third one, they were very liberal with the wipes.
And then this is my problem with the prequel trilogy, is that it's just too fucking stupid. It's poorly made.
They had a lot of it seemed like there was a lot of dependency on CG.
Not only that, they was super dependent on George Lucas, and I think that's where they fucked up.
Well, it's Jar Jar Binks. Do we have to say anything more than that?
He
came out and said that Jar Jar Binks was his favorite character. I was like, why? Why, Father Lucas? I believed in you.
Purposely trolling the internet, I'm sure, when he said that, because I knew everybody was going to get the back. He knew making that character that he was going to get some sort of backlash on there.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he's not completely ignorant to his own stupidity. But putting out that character out there and just being like, you know what? He's my favorite. Not Darth Vader.
I don't care what you got to say.
I don't care what you say. Not Luke. Not Obi-Wan.
Let's look at
not
episode...
even Salicious Crumb. It's got to be Jar Jar fucking Binks.
Let's look at episode 1 through 3 real quick, and then we talked about this again.
Never talk about it again.
Yeah, pretty much. We talked about episode 1, and we both agreed that episode 1 was the best of the first 3 movies.
Right. Aside from the end of the third movie, when the blue lightsaber versus blue lightsaber, I've been waiting for that for a few years, so that was at least the redeeming factor.
Well, because of the fact that we got to see we'll talk about when we get there. Just so I don't lose this thought here. Episode 1 was important because Anakin, Hayden Christensen, and maybe it wasn't just his fault. Maybe now we can.
I really don't think it's his fault.
But then again, we watched Jumper and we saw how bad of a fucking actor he still is. So I mean, it's probably on both ends.
It definitely could be depending on what you think about Jumper. I thought it was okay.
Well, the premise was cool. Samuel L. Jackson was a neat idea, but it wasn't that great. Anyway, so and that's a different story. We're not talking about that.
Right.
In episode 1, we get this little whiny Anakin, but we know he's a kid, so we can kind of let that go. We see this relationship blossom between him and Padme.
Him and Darkman too.
Well, yeah, no, throughout the series, yeah, absolutely. He becomes like very.
No, I meant like Qui-Gon Jinn because he's Darkman from the movie.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't put that two together.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then yes, him and Darkman are being like best friends.
Yeah.
And you know the one, I wonder what would have happened if. Do you think Anakin would have gone to the dark side if Qui-Gon was still alive?
There's lots of theories that may have supported would have been otherwise if he hadn't died in episode 1. I think the real catalyst and the real fuck up of Qui-Gon Jinn is that he didn't pay for his mom or just kill or whatever the fuck is his Watto.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't kill Watto and just take her. Of course, he's a white knight, so he's not gonna fucking do that. But I mean, yeah, he's the chosen one for a reason. But I mean, and they even say that he's like the chosen one or whatever. Yeah, because he's still the most powerful, Force user in the entire galaxy.
But
so
I still feel like if Qui-Gon was alive, he would have, whooped Anakin into shape.
Well,
would,
Obi-Wan
knock off.
couldn't because, just a few years before that, he was in Moulin Rouge, so he wasn't going to be able to be up to the task of actually whipping this teenager
exactly.
into shape.
But I think another big thing is the fact that Anakin was around. Obi-Wan was around Anakin when they were both still pretty young.
Yeah.
So he grew up. He basically raised him, so he was close to him as a son. And let's also keep in mind that while Qui-Gon was a very rebellious Jedi, he also did hold their tenets very, very tightly. So
he was a very radical Jedi. He cared more about the mysticism about the Force and midichlorians than anybody on the console.
Very, very sage-like.
Because more than anybody, if you could look at somebody who's going to be more in tune with the Force, you'd look at Qui-Gon Jinn first.
Oh, for sure.
He just wasn't too up to par on his sword skills, and got killed by Darth Maul.
Which is actually, by the way, he's like one of the only people to kill fucking Liam Neeson in a movie.
Yeah.
So
right,
I'm just saying something that's why Darth Maul was a favorite of mine, because he was a badass, and even continuing into the Clone Wars, he was still a badass.
Way to come back from X-Men, Ray Park, and not be Toad anymore. But
oh yeah, dude, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, Ray Park. But
amazing martial artist though.
Yeah, I've actually met him. He's a great guy. Fun. Yeah, he's really cool.
I just want to be like, what's up, dude? Awesome job. But see, if I can meet him and that the dude who did the voice for Darth Maul together,
yeah,
that'd be perfect.
You know who did it, right?
No, who did it?
It's hold on, I'm trying to remember his name right now. Peter Serafinowicz.
Sounds familiar.
We were talking about Shaun of the Dead the other day.
Oh,
remember?
That
He's
guy. Pete.
Yeah,
that's right.
He was also on
Pete.
Dude, he was also in couples therapy. Or couples
retreat.
Couples retreat. And then I'm Stanley with a C.
Just about any other British movie ever.
And he was on Look Around You on Adult Swim, which one of my favorites.
But yeah, so he did the voice of Darth Maul, and Ray Park did the actual acting.
Ray Park did the stuff.
Which, by the way, if no one's ever caught onto this, if you listen to this and you're like, I watched Star Wars once or twice, watch episode 1 and do me a favor and count how many times Darth Maul blinks.
Because he does it.
Because he doesn't blink at all.
He said the contacts were so painful he could not blink.
Really?
Yeah. So like, if
they had to take him off between takes because they were that searingly painful.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it was like a glass plate pretty much in his eye. But
contacts
usually are.
Well, and they're also like this, like his eyes were like a mixture of like yellow and red and awesomeness.
They were sweet.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at the way the first movie was structured, I think the first movie was closer to the original series as far as like the way pacing goes,
Definitely.
the way storytelling is concerned. And again, episode 2 and episode 3 fall into the pitfalls in the fact that Anakin was they were showing a corruption of Anakin. I think part of the reason it was hard for me to watch him is because of the fact that I know eventually he's gonna end up killing people.
See,
a lot of people.
I didn't have the same problem because they were just terrible movies the way that they were filmed.
Exactly. I was just saying, it's just when it comes down to it, there are a few parts in Clone Wars. The big fight between the Clone Army and the Droid Army, when they were tracking down the assassin on I think they were on Coruscant, the one that was trying to kill Padme. The first time they get to see Jango Fett. I mean, all that kind of stuff was important to me because it was awesome. It was what encapsulated Star Wars. But that's just like saying I have some water and I dropped a little bit of Kool-Aid in there. It's still not Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's still
not
Kool-Aid,
it's gonna be kind of funky flavoring water.
You gotta put sugar in it too.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't have enough sugar.
Salty colored water.
And then salty.
You ever had Kool-Aid by itself?
And it's not salty to me. It's kind of
salty to me.
on my tongue. It's just like.
It tastes like bones.
It's a little bitter.
It's like bone. I'm thinking of Jello.
Not the character, mind you.
No.
Now another big thing about episode 2 and 3, I'll be honest with you, is gonna be the dialogue.
Oof. Some of the worst in the series.
Dude, beyond some of the worst. And I think that Anakin definitely takes the cake for the some of the worst lines ever.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's the bane of what's that? Hayden Christensen. Like I don't know what other movies I've IMDb'd him before, but none of his movies really stand out in my head.
Yeah, we touched on this fact just a few minutes ago. Like he was in Jumper.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Justin says it's not that good, but I arguably kind of did like it a little bit.
You did like Jumper?
I did like Jumper.
I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, it was an okay movie. I mean,
but
give me something to watch at least, on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
But yeah, pacing, dialogue, writing all together. I kind of figured George Lucas had the money. He said we might as well make 2 more movies, and they did, and that's what happened. Phantom Menace is okay, even though the pod race lasted for like 7 hours in a 2-hour movie.
It was a good pod race.
It was a good pod race, It was an interesting pod race. It had nothing to do with anything other than Anakin using the Force for the first time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he could have shown that, getting a wrench from the table to fix up C-3PO or something.
Yeah.
But, hey, why not use it in a fucking pod race? Episode 3 I vaguely remember because it was the only movie I've ever seen once and never saw it again.
Because of pure disdain?
Because of pure disdain. I just couldn't deal with the fact that how fucking stupid it was. It was cool that they had the Wookiees in there, and it was cool that they had the blue lightsaber fight in it, but I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think episode 3 was aside from the special we won't name, was the first time we got to see Kashyyyk.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
which is actually done, very well on a computer, clearly. I guess the other thing of it is, it's like, oh man, the dialogue is so fucking terrible in that movie, especially, like, oh man, like when he's like gonna kill the emperor and he doesn't kill him, and he gives him that fucking awful line, like he's just like so terrible in that whole movie. Hayden Christensen, to me, probably isn't a bad guy. He's probably really cool. He's probably a good actor. But like I was also
with the dialogue?
But I was like also telling Justin, his wooden performance is completely the fault of whoever was directing those prequels, because they weren't critical of what these actors were saying on screen.
Right.
And that's what you need to have a good movie.
Because a lot of great actors have made just like these terrible flops, and you're like, oh, what were they thinking? Why was the dialogue so bad in that?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that their performance was bad or that they're a bad actor. It's the direction that they're given and the fact that nobody decided to take another take.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, who looks at that and said, you know what, print it.
Yeah.
It's good, or whatever they do now.
Look at Aaron Eckhart and I, Frankenstein. I mean,
terrible
fucking movie.
But he's awesome.
He's an awesome.
If anyone's seen Thank You for Smoking, they know how badass he is.
Exactly. If you've seen movies like with him in it, and you know how good he is. I mean, hell, even that stupid movie where he's the president, and Gerard Butler has to go and save his ass. What is that?
Is Olympus Has Fallen?
Olympus Has Fallen.
They're doing another one. London Has Fallen.
I heard that. Yeah.
And it's like, here we go again. Like that cheesy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool because I look at Gerard Butler as being like, he's one of them C-list action stars that gets A-list movies.
I would see Gerard Butler in a Star Wars movie.
I would too, actually. I think he'd be actually a really good fit. He should really be in Marvel movies as like somebody really powerful or really dangerous.
Yeah.
Because he'd fit right into it.
What do you got, Justin?
So I just want to point this out. This is the worst line that anybody ever talks about in Star Wars. It doesn't matter what movie it is. You can look it up. Just look up Anakin Sand.
I've got a bad feeling about
No,
this.
Anakin Sand.
Oh.
And you get this amazing gem where he says, I don't like sand. It's rough and coarse, and it gets everywhere. Not like you.
Oh my god.
When he says it to
I
Padme,
remember that
your
one.
skin is soft and smooth. It was like, seriously, the best way to pick up a lady who grew up on a planet that's full of like grass and water is to say, I hate sand, but you're pretty cool. You know?
So we can all maintain, or just pull from that Anakin does not like the beach.
No.
Yeah, he probably has a hard time. Like, he probably hates tools. He probably doesn't know how to use a sandblaster.
Honestly, I don't really like the beach either, because like when you wear flip flops and all the sand gets between like your foot and the flop.
Yeah.
You know.
And it starts like rubbing away at your dermis.
Yeah. Well, we went to Virginia Beach when we were there, and like the sand was so hot, and it gets between your foot and the flip flop itself, and it's just like a searing sandwich. Like it was a molten center. It felt like a hot pocket.
You making the glass slipper?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, I hate sand too. It's rough and it gets everywhere, and apparently it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Not like you.
Oh my god, Anakin.
But yeah, dude, like seriously, I don't mean to derail your conversation. Gerard
no,
Butler
not
is
at all.
awesome.
No, yeah,
but
Gerard Butler is
fuck
awesome.
lines like that. Star Wars. I hope to God we don't have any more sand lines in the new one. I don't want Finn jumping out like I hate sand. Actually, you know what? It's funny. By the way, all the previews where you hear him talk in the movie, they take the one dude who's British for sure. I know it for sure. I think
they make him
and
American.
make him speak with an American.
John Boyega?
Yeah, John Boyega. He doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, he doesn't have an accent.
What fucking person in Star Wars, aside from Luke, well, Leia and a few other people, don't have
Chewbacca's British.
Lando. I guess maybe the main characters always speak.
C-3PO's British.
Very British.
Even a goddamn
Very
robot became British, and then these guys are all American. I'm just saying.
Well, hey, I mean, that's fine. From what I've read about the new movie, and I've read a little bit because I still have my doubts. They're many.
About the new movie?
Listen.
I mean, I know it got a 97% right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
That's over like 100 different reviews. But I mean, when I try to think about it, like you kind of wonder how much these reviews, like, how objective are they actually being?
That's what I'm saying. How many of them are shills?
In episodes 4 and 5, right? George Lucas learned after those that marketing could carry it so far. And that's why a lot of things in Return of the Jedi ended up like they were.
Right.
How it was like such a happy ending with the Ewoks and everyone having this little party in the forest.
Right.
Which
With ghosts.
originally apparently was written kind of a little bit darker. Still a good conclusion to the story, but it wasn't just like, happy
It just wasn't
Ewok
what
festival.
we got on film, right?
Exactly. So, because he learned that, they can sell toys and they can market things and they can appeal to a much broader age spectrum if they did some of these things. And episodes 1, 2, and 3 definitely were still a continuation of that.
Yeah, and they were definitely marketing powerhouses.
But, but that's the big thing though is with the new one not being done by George Lucas. We have somebody who wants to stay faithful to
they're
what
still
made
being
Star Wars
produced
unique.
by it's obviously Lucasfilm.
It's Lucasfilm.
It's obviously
George Lucas is hands off completely.
Well, I think he's still getting a cut of it because not only have they been able to sell me cars, they've been able to sell me laptops with this new movie. They've been able to bring a homosexual couple for a Campbell's commercial together for this movie. They've been able to sell me insurance for this movie. They've been able to sell me Subway cups for this movie.
Someone's definitely getting paid, and I have no doubt in my mind that says George Lucas is getting a cut of that money. But when it comes down to who is going to go into the set and make the call, it's all J.J. Abrams.
That's as far as we're talking completely about like marketing and things like that. Things like BB-8. Right. So
well,
look
okay,
at we've in our Sprint store have carried that remote control BB-8 now for like 4 months.
Right.
This movie being 4 months away, we've got this toy from a character nobody knows anything about.
People are buying it.
But people are buying it because it's cute, because it's marketable.
Right.
They have
But
BB-8
that's still-
shoes, every kind of
every
apparel
movie
you can
does
think of.
that.
Not every movie does
Not
that.
every movie
Well,
does
no. What I'm saying is every big movie. I don't want to say every movie. Every big movie that's coming out, I guarantee you, when Independence Day comes up about 4 months out of release, it's going to start hawking shit too.
They may have like
They're gonna
some
have a
kind of
goddamn
sponsorship
drone.
link with Taco Bell or something.
Right, they won't, but it won't be this full blown.
And then what's also point this out though? What's also
'Cause
point this
Disney.
out? Star Wars.
Disney.
Well, okay, so Avengers, everything, all those movies are the same thing.
Well, I mean, you can
As
market,
far as how big
you can market Star Wars because I mean, you can argue this also. You can market superheroes because they're timeless. Star Wars is timeless, right? But the amount of marketing that actually goes into this actual film and what we've seen so far is ridiculous.
Yes.
That has me doubting the actual integrity of this film, because not only could it just be pulling the wool over my eyes for the fourth time, not in a long time, they still have a plan for 2 more movies.
Right.
And they still have more marketing. And
it's not just 2 more movies, because remember that Rogue One, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
they're also doing the standalone
and they're also talking about
videos.
doing a
right.
Darth Vader, a Boba Fett, and a Han Solo.
Yeah,
so.
see, and I'm excited about those as well. And I have the same concerns you do. I want the movie to be good. I really, really do. And it's exciting because I like J.J. Abrams as a director.
I do too.
I like the energy and the amount of sheer magnitude that Disney can bring to it because they have so much money.
Right.
But because of the way that they're marketing it, because of the way I can't get on Facebook without seeing Star Wars from people I never saw anything from Star Wars
before, right?
Yeah. I never saw anything about Star Wars from them before. It just kind of it's cool now, I guess. And one thing I was going to tell you guys earlier, and I wanted to leave it for the podcast, was that there was this guy, and it started kind of off as MC Chris shared this thing, and it was a list of like top rap songs with Star Wars mentions in it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, because obviously Star Wars is going to make its way into music as well.
Yeah, Fed's Vet,
yeah,
one of them from MC Chris.
But MC Chris wasn't anywhere in that list of that guy's music, right? So people were coming to MC Chris's defense saying, this guy's got music, entire songs dedicated to Star Wars, and yet you're throwing a bone to Kanye West for mentioning Darth Vader or something, Right,
and like one snippet of a song that's maybe about like getting money and then shopping at Gucci.
And it was something like a sweater like Chewbacca or something, I don't know.
Right.
But somebody in the comments section.
That was about what's her face's who's married to?
Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah, her sister had her shirt off one day.
Oh.
So Chewbacca. Anyway,
she's about that tall. So
one of the guys in the comment section kind of pointed out, like, he went onto that same website, and I think I can't even remember the site that shared it, but they looked up that particular journalist's like history, like writing history, all the articles that they had, and they didn't even see the original trilogy until like the end of September. Really? As part of their assignment, because they're building up, they're like, hey, we need more people that can watch this, and they can do more articles about it. And after he watched those movies and kind of like wrote about his experience watching it, it was like every other week was a new Star Wars thing from him. So we're talking about a guy who's been a fan for 3 months and now thinks he can rank all the best Star Wars references. And we've seen more people like that now. Like, a lot of people are like, I just watched the series for the first time.
That's a double-sided sword, though. The fact is, I mean, we have a lot of people who are doing that, who are running to basically say that Star Wars is the greatest thing. We also have the opposite: people who just watched the movies recently who don't understand it.
Right. Because we can all pretty establish that we're not all bandwagoners at this table.
Yeah.
I've seen the movies originally intact in VHS back in the day, in the 90s.
Back when Han shot first.
Back when Han shot first, and you had all these really good cinematics. And
deal with it. Han's a scumbag. He's a goddamn scoundrel.
Sorry, guys. The special editions kind of just fucked you over. I saw the original trilogy recently because I downloaded it, and I also saw it at my brother's house. What they've done with the original movie, which would be A New Hope, is atrocious. I mean, the score that John Williams, worked so hard to get, onto film, and hundreds and hundreds of hours, and not even counting the thousands of hours of manpower I'm sure it took together, to just record all of this. It's been done over with louder sound effects on the actual movie. So, really, it's, I've seen the series evolve from what it used to be, and I was even talking to, somebody at work today. It was like, the series was magical when you're a kid, and then slowly and surely, the powers that be, whoever that may be, whether it be George Lucas, Lucasfilm, or Disney, have come up to this certain point where they can go ahead and just shit on everything that you remembered, and then they release this, for just a quick cash grab.
Yeah,
that's why I'm still on the fence about this new movie. J.J. Abrams is an excellent director. Even Star Trek Into Darkness, which arguably is the dumbest Star Trek ever movie. I mean, if you don't count the one with the whales, okay, so it's a stupid movie, but it's also a really fucking good movie. And it has really good directing, it has really good dialogue from start to finish. I mean, even like there's some parts that are kind of stale where it's like Khan is just like obviously Khan, but everybody's like trying to play dumb about him, about who he actually is. And then of course he does the big reveal and he's ends up being this super badass. And then not to mention that they also get Peter Weller. Not Peter Weller. RoboCop. He's the main bad guy in there, aside from Khan. And he's fucking electric in that movie. And like people don't even look at him as a good actor, but he's a really good actor in that movie. But I'm really looking at forward to this movie actually being, I guess, if I want to play it safe, it's going to be decent. But still, I mean, part of the charm is that like people who haven't seen the movies are just getting into it. This is going to be their new trilogy. This is going to be their new hope.
But I think a big reason, and someone I guarantee, probably even at this table, people are going to disagree with me on this. But the reason why I can watch every movie and say that even though I said that episode 2 and 3 are bad movies, I could still sit down and enjoy the hell out of them. Any of the Star Wars movies is a lot of people will just see the movie and stop there. A lot of people don't know there's a whole bunch of information that you can find online that really kind of ties everything together. So, while it doesn't make sense that an event happened in the movie, if you go through and read the lore behind it, it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense then. I mean, because this happened, this happened, this happened. A lot of that lore is now no longer canon, but it's still important for the old movies because the old movies were built around that story.
90% of the audience is not going to know about this lore.
Well, that's exactly what why I'm saying this is because of the fact that this stuff changes movies. If you have a movie as you guys are mentioning, Olympus Has Fallen, which take a movie like that, big summer blockbuster, there is nothing in the background I give a shit about. I don't want to know what they had for breakfast. I don't care what school the kid goes to. The fact she got straight A's. Fact is, he goes in, kicks ass, gets out. In Star Wars, we are devoting time to this movie. Not even that. I mean, I would dare say that Star Wars can almost be considered in some cases a lifestyle because of the fact that it requires it. If you want to, it requires you to care about something a lot. To care about why. How do they create lightsabers? Or what is the Force? Or how did a lot of people don't know that Darth Sidious is partly responsible for the birth of Anakin. Darth Sidious and Darth Plagueis came together. We're doing their whole mystic weaving. He mentions it in episode 3. But since Anakin has such a high midichlorian count, it's because he's pure midichlorian. And from
she mentions that he had no father.
He had no father. So like a lot of people, they know that part.
Anakin's Jesus.
Immaculate conception.
And that's the whole thing, though. It comes down to...
Which is not a word you can associate with that prequel trilogy.
We can actually call it's an allegory, I suppose, in some cases. But what it comes down to is that it's the whole story. And again, you can look at it as a sci-fi opera. These evil bad guys who were in it to destroy, like basically enslave the world, were messing with stuff they had no idea what they were doing, and eventually... They brought about the downfall of the Sith Empire.
Well, getting so deep-seated into the lore isn't going to help the movie that it is now because, like you said, a lot of it is not canon.
Well, and that's why I said even though it's not canon, it's not going to help the series thus far.
Right.
But it helps make a lot of sense of the stuff that did happen.
Well, now it is going to lower their sphere of influence from all of the expanded universe now called the Legacy Universe. And
we're talking about Clone Wars.
We're talking about Clone Wars. We're talking about anything that has come out within the last 30 years regarding the books or anything like that. It's known as either Legacy or Legend.
Well, no, Clone Wars is still seen as canon.
Clone Wars the Clone Wars is still official on there. Rebels is still official on there. There's a few things.
By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in a different episode. I feel like I did, but just to clarify, did anyone else see on Facebook people bitching about a black stormtrooper?
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, how ridiculous is that?
I don't know. Well, I don't understand.
Almost as ridiculous as a black Jedi, but we got that in Mace Windu.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, how ridiculous would it be to have a black stormtrooper?
None at all, because stormtroopers can be any race.
Well, now they can. Previously, everyone's saying like, well, they're supposed to be clones.
Yeah.
But the whole kimono factory was shut down a long time ago. Camino factory was shut down a long time ago.
El Camino factory?
Yeah, El Camino.
Well, you're right. Your average actual purveyor of these movies is not gonna know what that is. They're not gonna know that
they think they're all still clones.
They still think they're all still clones. In fact, that was even a question that I even brought up when I was watching the prequels. I was just like, so does that mean stormtroopers are clones too? But then I had to kind of think about it. I'm like, no, because like one of them's a bumbling idiot and hits his fucking head on a freaking door.
He's just the guy who like.
And they left it in.
They'd be a little bit more uniform in the way that they talked and walked around.
Well, you watch Futurama, right?
Yes.
Remember the episode where Hermes just lets Bender go through? Yeah. It's kind of what happened. It's like, oh, this clone's kind of not. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a seal of approval because he looked me right in the eye. It looks pretty nice.
Right. Exactly. So.
Call him Dopey.
I think, and I mean, the lore's great if you want to look at it that way, and that more of like, you're being more analytical with the series than most normal people are going to be. And a lot of people are going to look at this movie as just another sci-fi movie. I'm not. Obviously, I'm going to take it a little bit more deep in the heart because even growing up as a kid, I love the series. And even back then, I still had the same problems with the movies I still have today. A New Hope was still kind of too slow, and Return of the Jedi was a fucking slog to get through once they got over to Endor. Even in the beginning of the movie when it was too long in Jabba's palace. Overall, though, when you look at the original trilogy compared to the prequels, I mean, you have a clear winner. The movies are magical still. I mean, it's lost its luster, obviously, over the years because of all of the changes and stuff that they've made to it.
Adding a giant CG Jabba the Hutt.
And a giant
hangar scene.
And a couple more dewbacks and a Ronto and Tatooine.
I think that, I mean, we can not discuss the sins of our fathers here when it comes down to the remake or the remaster of Star Wars, and even the problems that I swear to God, if they go in and say we're gonna remaster Episode 1 through 3, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna go to freaking Skywalker Ranch, and I'm gonna demand that they hand over it to me to put him under citizen's arrest. I want to put Mr. Lucas in a cell.
Well, Dad is still in the kitchen in this. Even though he says he's taking a step back, he still has his influence is still definitely
his influence is there, and that's. I mean, it's keep in mind though, just because he made a few bad choices, doesn't instantly mean. Don't look at Brandon like that. Just because he made some bad choices doesn't instantly mean that he doesn't know what he's doing with the series. Now, I will tell you, he did get a chance to see it, and he said he liked it. And that's important to me because obviously if he would have came out and said this is nothing like my dream, that's fine. And because he has enough money to deal with Disney, he could have said, yeah, it was a piece of hog shit. And then Disney's like, we can't have you say that. We're going to sue you. It's like, okay, cool. Which one of my houses do you want me to pull money from?
I would really honestly would like for him to come out and say this is a bunch of hog shit because that would mean it is a different movie. Mm-hmm. It is a different feel.
Well,
but he also wrote off on 1, 2, and 3, so... I mean, his opinion obviously is not going to be that highly regarded. Right. He directed A New Hope. He did not direct Empire Return. He didn't. Yeah, and for most people, the battle for number one spot is Empire Return. A New Hope is just kind of it's a great film and it starts it off. But the fact that with episodes 1, 2, and 3 kind of went out with his blessing. Hopefully that doesn't bode terribly for the new one.
Right. I don't think we're gonna have a single problem with the Force Awakens. Not with the Force Awakens. If it's any part of history, the next two movies, I don't know. I think that he was set to help direct the next two movies, but I don't know if he's set to direct officially. The next episode 8.
Who?
J.J. Abrams.
No, they're going to be
it's going to be a different director. So the important thing to remember is the first movie from each trilogy has always been strong in its own respect. The fact that the Force Awakens is taking a completely different story. We're not going to be talking about the Sith anymore. We are talking about Jedi. We're going to be talking about the peril of the universe. We're going to talk about good versus evil, but it's not going to be the same exact story. We're going to have some of the same characters, but the nice thing is we're not going to be following Luke anymore. We're not going to be following Han Solo. Those main characters are now tertiary characters. We have people who are going to be heroes in their own right. So I think the important thing to keep in mind is on The Force Awakens, it's a different monster, it's a different generation, it's a different everything. So before anyone can say that The Force Awakens is probably going to suck or it's probably going to be great, we're just going to have to see it.
Yeah.
Because J.J. Abrams is one of the best directors at the moment, and the fact that Disney could look over the fact that he was he'd made or directed both the both the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
To me, it's pretty awesome for them to say you have a vision. You remade Star Trek into something that wasn't boring as shit.
Right.
So let's go ahead and have you try your hand at Star Wars. And the fact that he was like, all right, let's do this, was pretty great.
I hope those knuckle cracks come out on.
That was pretty great.
And see, he actually, when they brought J.J. Abrams in, they'd already had a script over from somebody else, and he brought it in to help assist, in writing the script, because he's like, hey, JJ, you're gonna end up directing this movie.
And it also helps that he's also a huge fan of the series.
Right. So, but when they went into writing the script and he saw it and he read it, he didn't like it, or he didn't think it was like salvageable. The person writing the script felt the same way, so they went ahead and just rewrote the thing. So what you're getting is really just the past couple of years of film that they've actually written from scratch and then actually put out to a movie. That kind of concerns me also.
How?
Well, in the meantime, between any of that, things can get pushed around. Ideas that might have been originally in the script, might have been, more appeasing to somebody, might be pushed back.
But it's still a deal of Schrodinger's cat. I mean, until we see the movie, it's both good and bad.
Well, yeah.
Because
I get what Pete's saying, because there's always that. It's almost like buyer's remorse, you know what I mean? Like they look at it and they're like, I don't know if it's good, and then they freak out, and then they write something else. They're like, yeah, this is definitely better. It appeases what I thought was bad about the first one.
And then they just do it, and then that's the movie we got today.
Well, you know that Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy went through several rewrites, right? It didn't make the first script and go with it.
Right.
I mean, it went through and we could always say the same thing about that one.
Yeah, but Guardians of the Galaxy didn't have a legacy to live up to.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy had a big problem because Guardians of the Galaxy was supposed to be Disney's newest baby, but they had to go up against the Avengers, and I believe the summer after the Avengers came out, right?
It was 2 summers.
2 summers ago. So they're going to have the next Avengers movie come out the very next year. They're going to try to make this brand new series of Guardians of the Galaxy and hope to God that it catches on, because this is going to be a part of the entire leading up to the galactic.
I would say home run there,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Too. It was a good movie. So.
And that has, direct.
Disney.
I mean, when you mention Guardians of the Galaxy specifically, that has everything to do with James Gunn actually getting in there and actually.
No, you're right. No, James Gunn is a fantastic director. Yeah. What I'm saying is, like, we're looking at how these directors work.
Right.
J.J. Abrams is.
But from several rewrites, versus maybe the 2 or 3 years that they had an idea for Star Wars after George Lucas kind of established one, and then they took with it, and then they started writing a script for it. To maybe about the year and a half after that, they went ahead and said, you know what, we'll go in and just rewrite it and then we'll film it. It happened very quickly.
I just don't think we should look too deep into it, because at that point you're just kind of looking for reasons to not think it's going to do well. And I mean, granted, you have to be speculative of every single step of the Star Wars movie, because it's going to be important to us. And to those of us who have kids or have loved ones or have family and friends we want to share that experience with, it's important for us to be able to take them into the theater and say, this is the magic I felt when I was a kid.
I do want to go in critical, though, because did you guys see that clip of it was back 99, right? Episode 1 came out in 99?
Yeah.
Did you guys see that clip, like all the broadcasts kind of stitched together, like different... they're going out because it's a big, major release. Hadn't been a Star Wars film in like 20 years.
Right, exactly.
And they go out there and they're talking to all the fans and stuff, and everyone's super excited about it. And they're like, oh, this is what I read online. This is what I'm looking forward to seeing. And then they're interviewing people as they leave, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, great movie. It was excellent. I'd see it 1,000 times. And one guy said, oh, it was better than Return of the Jedi, right? And then there was like one guy that came out and was like, I think it sucked. And it was like he was being super honest because he went in critically.
Exactly.
And you think about how... almost universally panned those movies are, whether it's because it's popular to hate those movies or whether like people actually didn't like them.
Right.
That's the one guy out of all those that they interviewed that maybe gave the only honest answer. The most honest answer.
And that's why I like to kind of you touch on exactly what I want. And you said it also. They have to fucking deliver for this series, because they've already let me down 3 times. If they want to bring that back up to me, they really have to make it up.
But a big thing that I always see with people who are saying stuff about Star Wars in general when it comes to the movies, first of all, it's always the same argument. It never changes. There's never any other part of an opinion.
They haven't gone back and changed the bad parts to the good parts.
Well, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, like, if someone keeps coming in and saying, oh, this movie was bad because the storytelling was terrible or the character acting was bad, and then someone comes in and generally says verbatim what you said, to me, that just kind of has a hive mind mentality now of like, hey, let's all hate on the new Star Wars because it wasn't what we grew up with. It was different. And I'm not going to lie and say, again, the movies were bigger than they were. They weren't great. Episode 1, though, is generally, what Brandon said, is generally seen as the worst of the first 3. I gotta disagree with that because again, it
is 2 and 3 that are the worst.
Well, no, I don't think episode 1 was the first.
No, dude, you go online, look up episode 1 bad movie, and people just fucking rip it to pieces. And the fact is
I think they had more to complain about in regards to characters because of Jar Jar Binks. But as far as the pacing in the movie goes, I think the people that are actually going to hate more on anything is going to be part 2.
But what I'm saying is like, just because one person in this case will come out of the theater and say it sucked, eventually people are going to change their mind because. Who wants to be that one guy who's a fan of a series and says they don't like it? No one does. Even when we have our arguments about Prometheus, you know how easy it would be for me just to say, fine, fuck it, Prometheus is a good movie, I'm done with it.
I love Prometheus.
It would be easy for me to do that, but I'm not going to do that because I don't believe it was a good movie. Same thing for Star Wars. A lot of people don't have that. Dude.
I like Prometheus. I thought it was cool. I thought it was...
It is easy for you to convince somebody else, especially on the internet, that they're wrong and your opinion's right.
So this way, I mean, and you're right, because, people are obviously fucking stupid if they could go from a small percentage of idiots who thought that Jar Jar Binks was the Sith Lord and then...
Oh my god,
suddenly,
that was ridiculous.
Suddenly start a movement on Facebook saying that this better be an actual movie.
I had more of a problem with that than people saying E.T. was a Jedi.
That's the other thing that I have a qualm with.
The only thing is like the fact that E.T. was in the first movie.
A nod from director to director.
Yeah, that's all it was.
All it was.
Just an
He's
Easter
not a
egg,
goddamn
guys.
Jedi.
Like, you're reading a little bit more in between the lines than in what there actually has to be.
But
when you actually look at it subjectively, like I have, I mean, I'm going to find complaints at the movie that I feel are completely valid.
And everyone's allowed to have complaints, but I'm just saying, like, how many times are you going to hear the same response before you're like, okay, either A, this is a legit reason, or B, someone's regurgitating this garbage they found online. And that's the problem I have with anyone at this exact moment saying that they don't have faith in The Force Awakens, because you have to have faith that this is going to be better. And granted, I'm not saying that when you go in, you have to come out and say it was the best movie you've ever seen. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But you hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't set yourself up for failure.
So I guess the major question we need to answer at this point: are you going to go see The Force Awakens?
Fuck yeah, I'm going to go see The Force Awakens. It's going to happen. I have made a deal with myself. This is the 7th movie. I will see it 7 times in theaters.
This is the movie.
Unless it really is bad, then I'll still probably see it like 3
It has to
times.
top The Good Dinosaur, though.
Yeah,
really good movie.
This is the movie that is either going to make or break the entire upcoming sequel trilogy.
Isn't it funny how Star Wars has so much in common with Nintendo right now?
I mean, and you're completely right in that regard, because if they don't pick up this shit next year, it is gonna be a bloodbath. But more so than anything, you have a lot more writing on Star Wars than anything else right now. So if it's not going to be good, and if it's not going to good anywhere after this, I can't see them actually having anything beyond the trilogy that they're planning on. Maybe they might even just do 1 or 2 spin-off movies if it's not that great. I will be seeing it this winter because, like I said, this is going to be the movie that either breaks or makes the trilogy. It's got to be fucking good.
It's Disney. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to check it out.
It's a winner already.
If it's not good, hey, we could just be looking at another prequel trilogy all over again.
Well, then that makes 3 of us, because I'm probably going to go see it with Justin. It's just how things happen.
It's gonna happen.
We may see it on Christmas Day. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of a dick move to go to places that are open on Christmas Day, but theaters, they open movies on Christmas Day.
Most other places are open Christmas Day too. Look, Christmas Eve is sacred, Christmas Day is sacred, but then we also live in a consumerism.
You still have
economy,
IHOP and you still have movie theaters. I'll be checking it out hopefully this week. If not this week, I'll definitely be seeing it a couple of times next week. And even next weekend, I'm going to try not to get spoiled out of it. If I do get spoiled...
That's the biggest thing I'm worried about, is Facebook sucks so much.
It's going to be a landmine, like a minefield.
A minefield. A
landfill mine.
If you guys are really interested in actually seeing it, and we're going to try to put out this episode as soon as possible. A lot of theaters are actually doing 24-hour showings this weekend, and I believe throughout the week after. So... check it out on Fandango.
Go out and get you some.
Tomorrow, I don't know. We're supposed to hang out tomorrow, But if
Depending
anything,
on weather, maybe we'll Top Golf.
maybe
like
that's
that.
always an
I haven't
option.
been in it.
Or we can watch all the Star Wars movies again.
No, I always waste my days off like inside. I don't want to do that.
So I think that's kind of about it for us today. This is a whole Star Wars talk. I don't know. I thank you guys for being here.
We're gonna try one more, or at least Justin and Pete getting one more episode out there before the end of the year. I know it's coming up fast, and January may be a little bit of a hiatus for us.
There most definitely will be an episode before the end of the year.
Yeah, we're trying to hijinks. Maybe squeeze one out, if you will, for you guys before the end of this month. Special end of the year episode, probably mostly regarding Christmas, New Year, stuff we're looking forward to.
And definitely, as Brandon was saying, that we are going to be doing some commentary during PAX, so there's something to look forward to as well.
We're trying to figure out the situation if we're going to be doing some recording on the floor, if we're going to try to find a room or a table to set up and kind of do some, as it's still fresh in our minds, because if you've been to any con, it's just you're exhausted by the end of the day. You're not going to be able to go home and try to squeeze out a full episode. You got to do it when you still got the energy and it's still all fresh with you.
Right. So stay tuned for that exciting shit. And we're moving more and more into video content.
We're slowly moving there. It's just a matter of getting it done.
Yeah, we're slowly moving into. Now we're in the late planning stage of what we need to do and going to full implementation. And then you'll also be seeing a couple of other things on the Facebook within a few weeks.
Fuck yeah!
And we've been plugging this stuff for a long time. It's just been slowly and gathering. And really, it's just resources, guys. We just don't have fucking money to actually put out these things. So
money sucks.
Money does suck, seriously, doesn't it? So this has been great. I have nothing further to add. Hope the movie isn't shit. And I'm gonna try to go get me a Captain Phasm cup from Subway as soon as possible.
Oh shit! I didn't even mention how excited I am that Brienne of Tarth is in it.
Oh my god!
I think we mentioned it in other episodes, but
Gwendolyn
Christie, it's gonna be awesome. It's epic. She's so fucking awesome.
She's the captain of my heart.
Come on.
Anyway, I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Brandon. I remembered my name this time.
You did. We gotta go pick up a few power converters from the Toshi station, so we'll see you guys around.
Adios. The force be with you.
And also with you.
The game goes on.